What up, Buttercup? Welcome to the Dexter Loves Annie podcast. My name is Kat and I am recording in England, in Buckinghamshire. We're semi-rural here. We've got fields and a little bubbling brook and stuff that side, and then that way is town. It's nice. It's nice. Best of both worlds. Don't like being too much in town or too remote from stuff. So that's cool. This is a knitting and craft podcast, and it's about to become also a designing podcast because I have designed my first pair of socks, which is probably what gave me the motivation to come on here. Not gonna lie, I've got a new sock pattern coming out on Saturday. Today is Thursday. This will probably go up Friday. My Fridays are insane, so it'll either go up tonight or tomorrow afternoon. And Saturday, once I work out how all of the widgets work in Ravelry, it's there. It's going to be there. It's going to be ready to download. I'm going to try and do a discount for the first 10 downloads or something, but there's no way of telling how it works until you actually do it. And once you do it, it's there and it's uploaded and it's launched. So it's going to be a kind of suck it and see on the day thing. So technology, Ravelry is not very user friendly. I find it a little bit difficult to navigate at times. It could do with a whole new recode, but never mind. Anyway, so the tripod is again balanced down with several weights. So hopefully we won't get anybody feeling seasick this time. It is slightly on the squint because there's a carpet underneath it. I think the rug has pushed it off a bit, so we're not drunk, well, yet, but we're here and we're ready to show you some stuff. So first off, I'm sure you can see I am wearing my petite knit cardigan, which I did finish, and we did talk about my lack of attention to patterns and detail, didn't we? So I'm going to stand up and show you this now. If you haven't seen it on my Instagram or on anywhere else that I've posted it, are you ready for a laugh? Oh, I think the camera's a little bit close, but oh, let's get back here. So yeah, this is this is how much positive eaves I have. Fab, isn't it? I mean, I love it. Definitely don't have any problems with it fitting or not. It's like, I don't know, 20 inches positive ease, which is a lot more than I would choose. Don't hate it, but the armpits are quite low, which I suppose meant less time on Sleeve Island. Anyway, it was quite a boring knit because it's a lot of back and forth. It's not knitting the round at all, but I'm too much of a pansy to steek at the moment. I will try it one day. I might do a little cardigan or something just to test, but no thank you. And I started another one. I think I showed you this yarn last time. Fairly positive I did. And I had to stop it in the middle of the row because there's just so many stitches. And it was bedtime, and it was about midnight. It's way past bedtime, and I was knackered. But what I'm actually doing is I'm making up my own little colourwork pattern. So this is the drop soft tweed that I showed you last time, and this is like a brownie colour, and this is a biscuit. They had numbers. They always use numbers, but then when you go into like Ravelry or some of the shops, they give you the actual names of the colours, and I don't know what they are, so I'll try and find them and put them below like I normally do. But yeah, I've just kind of done a diamond pattern, so this is going to come across here, and then a 1x1, and then I'm just going to do one more diamond here because in design you're supposed to do like odd numbers of everything, and I ran out of room before an increase on that. and it would have looked weird because the green diamonds would have been sort of swimming in the brown, and it would have just looked weird. Lots more stitches there, and it's actually a lot more obvious on the camera than it is in real life. But anyway, I love it. It's just done in DK because the pattern actually calls for 4-ply and a lace held together, and that makes DK. And I thought, well, I've never done an actual jumper in DK itself where it calls for the 2, but it says it makes it up, if you know what I mean. So I thought I'd try it. So I got the yarn on a sale. Really love it. Really love it. I'm going to be wearing that a lot. The only problem I would have is that yarn is actually this is the ball band here. There is a lot of vegetable matter in it still. Lots of scratchy, horrible bits, and I don't expect to be pulling scratchy, horrible bits out of commercial yarn. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't like that, and I'm not going to like that scratching on my skin if I find bits that I've missed. So we'll deal with that as it comes. So the yarn I've used there, drop soft tweed mix, a tweed classic in superfine alpaca and merino wool. The brownie colour is colour 16, I think. What does that one say? One of them's 16, one of them's 04. I'll let you know down below. Yeah, wool, 50% wool, 25% 25% alpaca, 25% viscose. So that'll be fun. My next whip. I've gone back to this, and I've actually had to ball up another skein. So I don't know if you remember, a long time back I spun my own yarn out of Shetland. We got the Shetland wool. So I spun up about 600 grams for me, and then the intention was to make Annie a jumper to match, just because, which is where that pink one came from. But she's less keen to wear jumpers at the moment, or not at the moment because it's summer, but you know, this winter she's been less keen to wear jumpers, so I don't know whether I will make her one. It might be a waste of effort. Not that she's ever a waste of effort, but you know. So here it is. This is my Bean and Olive by Drea Renee Knits. So it's Shetland wool in the colour Kingfisher, and I don't know what the rusty colour was, but obviously I've gone past the splitting for the sleeves, and again, this is quite, it is in the round, but because I think I did spin to a DK, but the yarn's quite stiff, and I'm doing it on a 3mm needle because of my tension, because I knit really loosely. It's quite hard on the hands, so I have to stop and do other things after a while, but I'm quite confident that we're getting somewhere with this finally, because it just seems like forever, doesn't it, before you've split for the sleeves. It just goes on and on. So I think I was having to wear that this winter, last winter. Don't know what I was thinking. Hopefully this winter coming, it's going to be really hot. I mean, I don't tend to get that cold. I'm usually running hot, so we'll see how much that gets worn. But it's nice, a nice project to do anyway. So that I'd done a project from spin all the way through to knitting. It's cool. So, shall we get to the pattern? I've got one on the needles because I didn't finish the pink ones. So it's probably what I'll be doing tonight, in preparation for Saturday. Let's do it that way up because you can see it. So the pattern is called String of Hearts Socks, and it's named after one of my favourite plants, which is, it's a succulent plant. It's just like trailing vines of with heart-shaped leaves. You can get them in various different colours, like a dark green, there's kind of a purpley red, and there's a variegated light green and pink, and there is actually some of it in the pattern picture, so that's giving you an idea. But yeah, this is what it is. So it's very, very simple cable design, and it just makes hearts that trail down your sock. Small little cuff, and eye of partridge heel, which I thought was the same as a slip stitch heel, but apparently it's not. Amazing what you learn. It's really good to be in such a good knitting community because people are so lovely and they're so willing to help. I put up the pattern and a few people offered to test it for me. So it's out of testing now. They knit it up so fast. It's such a quick knit. And then I called it a slip stitch / eye of partridge heel, and these guys said, which one is it? Because you said eye of partridge but you're doing slip stitch heel. And it just goes to show, because this is somebody in a local yarn shop to me this isn't the first thing they've told me that's turned out to be wrong. Oh dear. Yeah, they told me they were the same thing. So I think I've gone 3 or 4 years thinking that eye of partridge was slip stitch heel. So for those who don't know, because the first pair were done with a slip stitch heel, that is a slip stitch heel. I don't know if you can see, they're like tram lines. And then eye of partridge, you're still slipping the stitches, but you do it alternately. So it gives you that kind of finish. And I felt that it looked better, and I was so grateful that they actually brought it up to me, because sometimes you feel like you're asking stupid questions, don't you? And there's no such thing as a stupid question. There's just a question that nobody dares to ask, that everybody at the back is scratching their heads wondering about. So there we go. So I think I've almost finished the gusset decrease and then the toe up quickly. It is a 14 stitch repeat pattern. So from that heart to that heart is 14 stitches, which is unfortunately why it's only in a 64 stitch pattern. I can't rewrite it. There's no configuration. I went through reams and reams of swatches trying to reconfigure it, and I couldn't. So unfortunately for this one, it's a 64 stitch pattern only, which fits a foot circumference of about 8 3/4 to 9 inches. But you could size down on a needle to get it just to be a little bit more snug. And I've actually done a twisted rib on the cuff as well to try and like cinch it in a bit. You know, you could skip that if you wear a larger size. You could even go up a needle if you want a much larger size. So not massive size variations, but tweakable. And both of my socks I've done again in Drops Fable, and this was done in Drops Fable Unicolors, and that's colour 102. Now again, these will appear on my Ravelry page like most things do. As soon as I've published the pattern, you'll be able to see what I've used. This also was Drops Fable. I can't remember what the colour number was, but that's also in Ravelry. So as soon as you get to Ravelry and look through the projects, there's a few now. I had some lovely testers. One lady did it in a kind of a peachy, very slightly mottled colour yarn, and that came out beautifully. Another lady did it in I think it's a Knit Picks stroll fingering, which I don't think we can get in the UK. She's in the US, and that yarn really showed the stitch definition. It was amazing. They're kind of a red colour. And then the lovely Kelly from Rora and Katie's. She also test knit for me, which is amazing considering how much she's got going on at the moment. She's got a pattern coming out tomorrow, which is a really fantastic t-shirt design with like kind of lightning coming down the yoke. Really cool. And yeah, it was really amazing that she helped me out, and she's been really helpful actually, because I've been picking her brains on how to do certain things, and she's had a little squiz through the pattern for me, and told me of, you know, all the things that I ought to change to make it a bit more sensible, because I didn't want to just sort of blind copy from anyone else. So I just wrote it down out of my head, and some things in my head just shouldn't ever come out. So yeah, these are, let's do it one at a time, otherwise I'll end up pulling the house down. These are the finished socks, unsock blockers. So I've partridge heel there, slip stitch. I mean, all patterns are customizable. If you prefer the slip stitch heel, go for the slip stitch heel. And yeah, that's what they look like. Decreased toe, heel flap and gusset and all that malarkey. So I'm very proud of this pattern. It took me days and days and days to get the stitch pattern sussed out. I went through reams and reams of paper and yarn, and I'm very proud of it, because this particular pattern is actually just, I've designed it myself out of my head. So that's one thing that is worth coming out of my head. Some of the other rubbish can stay there. So yes, Saturday, June the 3rd, come and get the pattern. And yeah, again, also check out Rora and Cade's podcast, because she's done amazing for me, and she's also doing a pattern release herself. So that's always very appreciated. I met some really lovely people in this knitting community. So if you want to join a really lovely knitting community, go and check Roro and Kate's out, Kelly, and join her Discord, because we all chat in there and we have knit nights and stuff. So that's excellent. Yeah, I think that's it. I showed you my cowl, bandana cowl, last week. Not so much this week, because I'm doing really big knits and they're taking a while. At the moment, what I'm doing is, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I've got a Cricut, and I'm also doing sublimation printing. And because I work at a pet shop, I've been asked to print some lead sleeves. Lead sleeves are things that you wrap around a lead, and there's like a little tag that you hang over the handle, and it's just to advise people in your vicinity of any issues your dog might have. So we have reactive dogs, we have dogs that might be in training or have been injured, and you don't want somebody else's dog just barreling up and knocking them over, or you know, your dog might object quite vehemently to that. And yeah, Annie does not like dogs. Annie would have their heads off. So we need all dogs to be away from Annie. So a little lead sleeve that just says, "I hate dogs, leave me alone," or something. Absolutely perfect for people that can read, because as we know, there are people that can't read and don't read patterns. I don't know who that would be. So yeah, they're helpful. So I've been doing that. I've been screen printing those, ready to take to work tomorrow, put them on sale, and I've got some other few little things that I'm gonna play with. I've got an alteration to do for a friend. I don't know whether I'll show that. It's a jumper, it's a hoodie jumper, and she doesn't want the hood. She just wanted it cut off, but that's going to look awful. So I am actually going to pick up the stitches and knit a little collar on that. So that's on the list. And I'm not even going to think about what I'm going to cast on next, because you know me, there's going to be something. I would quite like to do ranunculus, damn you, Kelly. I've got the yarn sitting around ready. I've got a lot of indie dyed yarn in the stash that I want to get done, get out and get playing with. Got lots of sock yarn because of the having to buy lots of yarn to finish this, because it didn't go as planned. I got a few skeins of sock yarn to play with, so I might start designing another pair of socks soon. That'd be fun. I am going to maybe try and configure that heart design for a shawl or something at some point, so that would be nice. They have a nice set. Maybe it'd be nice on a hat. Maybe we should do that. Let's see. So anyway, I think I've rambled on and bored the crap out of you long enough. So I'm gonna go, and thank you for listening to me ramble, and for hello to all of you new subscribers, because I know there's a few that have come here via Kelly, because she showed everybody my socks recently. So I know some of you have come via Kelly, so welcome to the crazy person. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, and I'll let you know how the sock pattern went. And I'm thinking, let me know in the comments if you fancy. I was thinking about doing an actual step-by-step how I designed the pattern and how I felt about it and my experience. I don't know whether if that would be of interest to anybody, but if it would, let me know and I'll do something. All right, well, I hope you have a lovely week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.